Oh my god. There was no audio. Oh my god. There was no audio. Oopsies. Oopsies, chat. All right, hold on. We're gonna go back real quick. We'll do like a 5-second recap. What is Warhammer 40k? Warhammer 40k. Oh, JJ, you're gonna act like you don't know anything about Warhammer to continue the stream. Also, there is no fucking audio for Alan either. Holy shit. There we go. Speak real quick.
Hello. How are we doing today?
There we go.
Alan.
There we go. So, JJ, pretty much Jeff's doing a podcast on Twitch right now. He's explaining Warhammer to me because I have no... Dude, my knowledge of Warhammer right now is like...
Yeah, time to restart the stream, guys. Well, hello there, chat. I hope you guys are doing well. GZ... I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, so I'm going to say GZ. I hope you're having a great time, and I hope you can forgive me for not having audio for the first 20 minutes. Since we did Warhammer. All right, so...
What really funny is that?
Yeah. All right, JJ, you know Warhammer. Warhammer...
Is that anyone could have been like...
Yeah. All right, JJ, you know Warhammer. You know it's a board game. It's got video game. It's got TV shows that are coming out and small little animations that are currently out. There's people you get to. There's like different factions. There's an Imperium faction. There's Chaos and there's Xenos. Who is the God King Emperor? You know the God King Emperor. He's the Father of the Year, aka Space Jesus. He's the guy who was like, yo, I'm going to go on a crusade and retrieve all of the plans for humanity. In the process, he saved his children, aka the Primarchs. Well, one Primarch named Horus said, fuck you, Dad, I don't like you. And killed his favorite son, Sanguinius. Even though Horus is his favorite son. Well,
there it is, Sanguinius.
There he is, dead as hell. So
Sanguinius.
So with Sanguinius' death, the Emperor said you're irredeemable and decided to one-shot the shit out of Horus, but in the process weaken himself to be put on the Golden Throne. The Golden Throne must have 1,000 souls sacrificed to it every day in order for God King Emperor to not die.
Every day?
Oh, every day.
I thought this was like a 10-year contract, bro.
No, sissy. No. You gotta give me your prisoners. Well, don't worry. Humanity has like 1 trillion human beings on any given planet.
Good Lord. I'm starting to think this God Emperor is just like this demon that kind of disguised itself as like some kind of like savior knight, you know?
So, some people in the fandom do think that way. Like,
yeah, no, some people believe that the Emperor is actually a chaos god.
That would make sense.
Because of how well he can manipulate the warp, as well as he's not even alive, but somehow still is alive. The man's a vegetable and still has power to manipulate the area around him.
Yes, I've heard 2 theories. That one, the other one is that he's like the Emperor is only this strong because the orcs believe that he is strong, and that's why that's also the reason why he's still alive, because the orcs still think he is.
You're going too far ahead, JJ. That's 20 slides ahead. We gotta keep it focused. Anyway, we're going to talk about the Loyalist Space Marines first. We'll talk about Chaos Marines in a second. Legion 1, Dark Angels. They love fucking medieval fantasy and hunting down heretics. Their leader is Lion L. Johnson, Big Dick himself, man's the greatest sword fire alive. This is Legion 5, the White Scars, lead by Genghis Khan, his motherfucking self. These guys love speed. Where's my motorcycles? Where's my buzzsaws? Let me go fast. We don't know where the fuck Khan is. Last we heard of him, he went into a warp gate. Same thing with Lionel Johnson. He only recently woke up from his 1,000-year coma. There we go. Now we're caught up.
Wait, are they humans? They're
No.
humans, right?
Space Marines don't actually like to think of themselves as humans. They like to believe they are better than humans. There is only one Space Marine faction that that still holds on to their humanity. We'll go over that in a second. Space Wolves. Yeah, Space Wolves. They are Swedish Vikings. They love to go on hunts. They drink a mead that's poisonous and sometimes turn into fucking literal werewolves.
So the furry of the faction.
Seriously?
Yes. If they
legit turn into a werewolf?
If they are kept unchecked, a space wolf that is old enough will start getting like fangs, a wolf's mouth.
What the
and
hell?
will start becoming more feral.
What is that? Why?
It comes from their Primarch. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for telling me. Each Primarch has a unique gene seed. This gene seed is then given. Yeah, the Primarch is the leader. The Lionel Johnson, Primarch. Genghis Khan, Primarch.
The leader of the legions.
Yeah. The Primarch of the Space Wolf is Liam Russ. Liam Russ has a unique ability where he's like more animalistic. Also, his nickname is the Executioner. The Emperor sends him to execute anyone that deems fit. We don't know where he is as well. Last we heard of him, he said he'll be at the last fight.
Okay.
No one knows what the fuck that means.
Thank you, sir.
But yeah,
he's gonna be at the last fight of the series when they're like wrapping it up, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be Endgame. It's gonna be Endgame, and then Warhammer.
Endgame.
And then
Warhammer.
Yeah, and then Warhammer 42 comes out.
Wow.
But,
wait, 42. What about Warhammer 41?
We're in the 41st millennium.
I didn't know. Then why is it called 40K?
Because that's when it started. Was the 40K?
Oh, okay.
But it is called the 41st millennium.
Got it. Interesting.
But anywho, yeah.
I'm trying to find. Is the salmonella here?
You mean salamanders?
Salamanders?
Oh, there they are. Yeah, salamanders.
I'll go over them in a second. They're actually like one of the last ones to go over, but I'll go over them. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah, we really need to go over
because when Space Marines 2 came out, I did a test and I got 2 legions.
Yeah, you got salamanders and blood angels.
No, space wolves. So salamanders and space wolves.
Oh, it was JJ or Brandon that got blood angels, right?
I got blood angels.
JJ, yeah.
Don't worry, we all love salamanders. And then we got the 7th Legion, which is the Imperial Fist, led by Rogal Dorn himself. This guy is the guy who edges you all day long. I'm not joking. You may think you're about to infiltrate the castle. His legion, no. They love holding into buildings and keeping it impenetrable. You'll edge all day long before you get into that building. Imperial Fist are all about siege. Yeah, they're about fisting. They're all about siege warfare in the sense that they barricades everything. They keep a building secure. If you're wanting someone to hold off a point, you send Imperial Fist.
Hell yeah.
And then we talk about Blood Angels, the 11th Legion, because there is no 10th Legion. I'm joking, there is.
Who's that 10th Legion?
I don't know why the person did it this way, but 10th Legion is the Iron Hands, led by Furious Manus, who is a technophile. Iron Hands are all about ripping off their own limbs, replacing it with cybernetics. These guys love technology. If you want tanks, vehicles, and powerful cybernetics, these guys are all about it.
Yeah.
And then the 11th Legion, Blood Angels, led by Sanguinius. I mean the dead guy.
Woo!
Wait,
Blood
Blood
Angels.
Angels are led by who, bro? Don't say his name again. It's literally-
Sanguinius.
I thought he was dead.
He is dead. So here's the thing. So you asked like why everyone loves Sanguinius was actually the most decent human being out of all the Primarchs, and was loved by
Really?
every single one of them.
Oh wow.
So when he died, his Space Marines, the Blood Angels, were given a curse. So remember I said about the gene seed and how it gives them special abilities? Well, the Blood Angels are
Yeah.
vampires.
You did.
Oh shit.
They are able they love to feed on enemies' blood, but with Sanguinius' death, it activates something called the Black Rage, or the Black Rage, where
Internal force.
if a blood angel goes too crazy, because it's called the red thirst for when they get wanting to drink blood. If they go too long, they get the black rage where they believe they are Sanguinius and everyone around them is Horus.
What the?
So
Really?
they'll go on a fucking rampage and start killing everyone around them because
So
they
they'll
believe
see
they're in.
that
Yeah.
huge like Dark Knight guy, the Horus
Yeah,
guy.
they'll see that and they're like, I'm Sanguinius and I'm going to win this fight this time.
What the hell?
So yeah, so like sometimes they'll keep their fellow brethren in like a chamber who have the black rage, and when it's like, hey, we need some guy to kill all these people, all these orcs, they'll send in someone with the black rage, and that dude will rip and tear everything around him.
Huh.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
All right, we already went over. Oh, here we go. The 13th Legion, Ultramarines, led by Sissyman Gilliman himself, aka Robuto Gilliman. So why we call him Sissy Gilliman? Well, he's a diplomat. He doesn't like fighting, but he
Just
is
kidding.
but he is humanity's last hope. He is the current leader of the Imperium of Man.
Oh, is he?
Yes. Robute Gilliman is one of the smartest people when it comes to lore. The planet of Ultramar is actually one of the only reasons why the Imperium is functioned, because they are the ones that do all the diplomat work. They are the ones that do pretty much everything when it comes to governmency.
Okay.
And Ultramarines. Ultramarines are good at everything. They just are. You want siege warfare? Send an Ultramarine. You want melee combat? Send an Ultramarine. You want to kill a whole planet? Send Ultramarines. But they are not great at anything. They're not like they're not
the jack of all trades.
Yeah, they are the jack of all trades, but they don't master anything. But they are still as equally as effective as their other brethren.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh yeah, and if you also, I don't think you can see it on Twitch for how small it is. You'll see that their legion sizes are really small. Like for example, Blood Angels only have a legion size of 120,000 soldiers.
Oh yeah,
and that is because the Ultramarines made this thing called the Astartes Codex, which every Space Marine faction must follow or they'll get killed. And one of the rules is you cannot have an army size no bigger than 250,000 soldiers. So there can never be another Horus heresy ever again.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yes,
they're like right at the brink too. They're like 210.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, they are at the brink. So, yeah. Next one, we skip 15, 20, 21, 22, all the way to 23. We are, not 23, 18, which is the Salamanders, led by Vulcan his Sails, aka the Blacksmith.
Stone.
Yeah, very much. Salamanders come from a planet that is so like hot and volcanic, it turns their skin like ashen black.
Oh, shit.
Vulcan is a blacksmith. He has created most of the Imperium's most dangerous weapons. Like the God King Emperor's Demon's Bane, he created. When a demon is sliced with this sword, they do not exist anymore. They're
Does he have a hammer in that picture right there?
Yes, that is his hammer. Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
We don't know where Volcom is. Volcom is currently missing. We don't know any whereabouts of him, which is sad.
GG.
And so when I said, so we asked like, oh, which Space Marine faction cares about humans? Salamanders do. Salamanders, unlike other Space Marine factions where they're ripped from their families and they never get to see them again, Salamanders send their kids back. They do the training and they get to go home even after training is done. They spend time with their family, which gives them a unique perspective of, oh, humans matter. Other Space Marine factions are like, nah, I don't give a fuck about that dying human. Salamanders will say, fuck you, I'm going to save that child, and you cannot stop me. And they'll sacrifice themselves to save that child.
Is that why they have the whole connection thing? Because they're allowed to go like see their families and stuff.
It's very much like that is because Fulcrum was like the gentle giant. He was the quiet one who just did his stuff, but when he spoke, it mattered.
Yeah.
And his salamanders very much copy that. They're all also builders as well.
That's cool.
Now we're on to the 19th Space Legion, which is Raven Guard, led by Corvus Crox himself. Corvus and his faction have a unique gene seed. It's called Shadow Step. You may think, what does that do for a guy wearing, 560-pound armor? Their armor doesn't make a noise. They are the quietest Space Marines to have ever existed.
What the hell? How the hell did they do that?
Shadow Step. They legitimately step into the shadows.
Oh wow.
Corvus.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, Corvus is currently a Chaos God. He is still loyalist though. He is a Raven Chaos God who is slaying all of the heretics he can find in the warp.
Wait, how is he Chaos, but he's on the good side?
So it was forced upon him because he was in the warp so long that Chaos just kind of was like, hey, let me modify you. Let me make you cooler. Let me give you actual Raven wings. Okay, now let me turn you to an actual Raven. Are you still going to serve us? No, I'm going to still kill every Chaos entity I can find. Okay. That's what happened with him. But no one knows this. No one really knows. None of the legions know about him. Like, they just think he's dead because there's no evidence of his existence anymore.
Yeah.
And I will go over the Chaos factions in a bit, but I wanted to kind of like get Imperium done. So and then we talk about Space Marines. There's special Space Marines. Grey Knights, aka the Spanish Inquisition. Grey Knights hunt demons. They are all about hunting demons. That also means no one can know about their existence. So, Alan, if you see a Grey Knight and you're not a fellow Space Marine, consider yourself dead.
Even if I'm just like a regular person?
Yep. If they were summoned, the chaos was that bad that they were summoned. You must be corrupted.
Oh, I'm a good guy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Custodians, aka Golden Space Marine. Custodians. So imagine there's a Space Marine. Space Marine times 2. That's a custodian. Custodians are people who were born in a tube, who are genetically modified to be as close as the Emperor as they can be, and they defend Earth, or Holy Terra, as it's called.
Is it that one in the middle?
Yeah, how I'm going down is like left to right. So yeah, the guy in the middle is a custodian. This is Henry Cavill's main army.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
So they're genetically engineered test tube babies to try to be like the Emperor.
Yeah, as close as we can be. And all Space Marines are genetically modified. They all have have a second pair of lungs, 2 hearts, 4 kidneys. They all are, but they're still
kidneys? Really?
yeah. Also, Space Marines
What the hell?
have an acid glands to where they can spit acid.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but Space Marines are still like children that are born. What is that, JJ? What are you doing? Are you like rubbing it out?
I'm rubbing my eyes.
All I hear is.
Yeah, there's a lot of mic noises coming.
I was like, man, is JJ like rubbing it out right now with his gimp suit?
Yeah, not yet, JJ. We're gonna get to the Pink Marines.
We will
We're
eventually.
gonna wait for those.
You'll know when you hear it, Jeff. This is a special noise.
One of the last special Space Marines is Death Watch. In the beginning of Space Marine 2, that's where Captain Titus was. He was part of the Death Watch.
Oh shit, yeah.
Death Watch are Space Marines that are either banished from their chapter, they are seeking redemption, or they were good at hunting very specific Xenos. That is what the Death Watch is all about. They're all about hunting aliens.
Why does he look like that? He looks all metal.
Well, that's a salamander. They're that black.
Huh.
What?
And the only way you could tell he's a salamander is by his knee pad, his chest plate, and then, of course, when he removes his helmet. Death Watch come from all walks of Space Marine life. They could be from a successor chapter like the Black Templars, or from even Ultramarines, and you would never know unless they talked about it.
Yeah.
So, I forgot about successor chapters, but this is already getting long enough. All right, the cannon fodder, AK Guardsmen. Yes, that's right. They are cannon fodder. They're nothing more. All right, so we all know about the Imperial Guardsmen. They're normal men and women of the Imperium army that will fight tooth and nail to the very last end. There are some noticeable guardsmen, like the Australian boys. These guys come from a planet that is so inhospitable, you're expected to die at the age of 5. But if you don't, you're a badass. And you are legitimately, like, these are the Aussie boys of the Warhammer 40k universe.
What the hell?
The guys in the middle, they are known as Cadians. Cadians are more...
Cadians dads.
Yeah. Cadians are very... one of the most upfront and most well-known of the guardsmen. They're the ones that are written about. You see them a lot in video games. Most Imperial Guardsmen are Cadians. Their planet was destroyed, and they were next to a warp gate, so their eyes are purple because of that.
Oh,
and
shit.
then my personal favorite, the Death Court of Krieg, aka World War I cosplayers.
What the fuck? Why?
They love trench warfare.
Oh, that's why they have all the gas masks.
Yes.
You can play Origins now in 40k. No break the ice.
Yeah. All right. We're almost there. We're almost done with humanity, Alan. Don't worry. I'll talk about the Xenos in a bit. But now we got to talk about the Inquisition, a.k.a. the secret police, a.k.a. the guy with a nuke.
Oh,
So
shit.
remember when I talked about heretics and heresy? These guys hunt that shit down. There are 3 specific chapters of Inquisition. There are demon hunters, heretic hunters, and xeno hunters. And you may think, well, wait, isn't a demon and a heretic kind of the same? Well, heretic hunters hunt specifically humans that are worshiping chaos, and demon hunters hunt demons.
Right, okay. That makes sense.
These guys have absolute power. They actually trump Space Marines. Not like strength-wise, governmency wise. Because they work they work directly for the Imperium government, aka the Church of the Emperor. Which, by the way, remember I said the Emperor's an atheist? Yeah. Yeah, they made him into a god.
Is he okay with that?
No, he's not. He's awake now. He's not okay with the Imperium of mankind becoming zealots. He's not okay with this.
It's like, wait, hold on. This
Yeah.
is not what I'm
Oh no,
fighting
Alan,
for.
there's a YouTube short called "If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Box," and it's a comedy show. If the Emperor had it, and he's like, "Excuse me, what the fuck is this?" And everyone's like, "What?" He's like, "Excuse me, I was an atheist, and now you're telling me I'm a god? Get this shit out of here!
Please don't do this.
Please don't do this. I'm a virgin."
No, seriously, it almost makes you think like that's how like gods are really born. They're just kind of born of like no one's
Stories.
above me.
Yeah.
And then they just get like the power to be a god, and they're like, "Oh God!" Like,
Yeah, no,
this
that's
is exactly
actually
what I
like
was
that's like
living in.
that's one of the ways. So these guys, when I say they have a nuke, they have something called exterminatus, which is I
my
deem
God.
this planet inhospitable. No reason to keep it alive. Destroy it, and they'll send
Buster Call.
yeah, pretty much it's a buster call. They will destroy the planet and everyone on it. Allies
Yeah.
don't matter.
They have that power.
Yeah,
Shit,
so like
that's
space
crazy.
so like Space Marine 1 takes place like with the orcs attacking a planet, and the Inquisition was like, "Hey, can we just nuke it?" They're like, "No, there's a mech, or there's a temple knight there that we need to save." So that's why you were sent, was to save the weapon. And we're gonna go over another, because we just briefly talked about the Church of Mankind. We'll go over their personal army, Sisters of Battle, aka Space Nuns.
Space nuns.
Yes,
Let's go.
they are all women. They work directly with the
badass.
Church of. They work for the Church of Mankind directly, as well as they are semi-genetically enhanced, kind of like Space Marines. They're not as enhanced as a Space Marines, but they have genetic altered augmentations like speed and strength.
Yeah.
Just like Space Marines, there are girls who are ripped from their families because they have a desired like attribute, like kind of thinking like Spartans from Halo.
Yeah.
Where like Chief was like, I like Chief because there's something about him. Same as these girls, there's something about them. One of their numbers actually became a god. Kinda.
Like a chaos god, or just
no, just like a normal,
god?
yeah, like kind of like the God King Emperor, because she did a
Oh.
sacrifice so great, and it saved humanity.
Oh shit.
Like think of her as the what's her name?
Jesus?
What was Jesus's mom's name? Saint Mary?
Mary? Yeah, Mary or Maria. It was one of those two.
Yeah. Think of her as Saint Mary. I forget her name. I feel terrible forgetting her name. But pretty much these are the girls who drop like churches down upon enemies. Their drop pods are churches. And they
That's
even
weird.
have a tank that is a grand, or is like a piano. Or what is it called in a church?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about the. Fuck, I don't want to say.
I feel like it's called an organ.
I was gonna say organ, but I was like, I don't know if I'm terribly wrong.
I don't think. But I'm gonna say the giant piano, and it shoots missiles out of it.
I want to say organ, yeah.
What the hell? It shoots missiles? That's
Yeah,
some,
these
like,
weapons are ridiculous.
reminds me of Mad Max.
I should have said this, by the way. There is no such thing as a good guy in the Warhammer 40k universe. There's no such thing.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. This
No.
just sounds like a very like apocalyptic dystopian fucking
Well,
universe.
so think of it this way. You know how the bad guys have all the cool shit? Well, if no one's a good guy, everyone gets really cool shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's so good.
All right, now we're going to talk about the people from Mars, aka Toaster Lovers, aka Adeptus Mechanicus. These guys, as you can see by the picture, you're like, oh my god, that's chaos. No, that's just how they look. These guys,
Wait, they're from Mars?
yes,
Oh, that's cool.
their motto is the flesh is weak, the metal is eternal. All praise the Omnisire.
Oh, these are the guys who are like all over the video game, right?
Yeah,
'Cause I played the video game.
yeah, they're the ones that make your armor and stuff. And you may say, well, whoa, Jeff, you just said Omnisire. That's a different god, right? Yes, it is. And you may say, well, isn't that heresy? You believe in another god. You should only believe in the god King Emperor. Well, these guys make your guns and your tanks and your ships.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's
so, you know, your god's okay. We even worship your god. So some humans even worship the Omnisire. Yeah, by the way, these guys don't know half their shit, how the fuck half their shit works.
They rely on these phones for all their tech.
No, even these guys don't know how their shit works. There is like
wow.
Yeah,
really?
no. So in lore, they have like these, let's call these ATSTs. Isn't that the small ones, right? In Star Wars, the ATSTs are the small walkers. Yeah. So imagine those ATSTs, but you don't turn them off. So they're constantly walking. Well, the reason why they don't turn them off, the guy who made them died. They don't know how it works.
Oops.
So they corral these things like horses, fill them up with gas, and then send them to battle. Because they don't know how it works. So they think how technology works is by the Omnisire. What is the Omnisire? The machine spirit, aka that god to worship. The Omnisire is a machine spirit that lives in all technology. Your bolter, Omnisire makes it work. Your armor, Omnisire makes it work. The telescope you use to see space, the Omnisire makes it work. The toaster, fuckable, but the Omnisire make it work.
What about the bidet?
The bidet, Omnisire makes that shit work. She wants to make sure you're
clean. I like this Omnisire.
So, but yeah, so the Adeptus Mechanicus will bathe themselves in machine oil. They'll bless it. They'll get like the incense and go like Omnisire, and they'll make shit work. Yeah, no, that's how they work.
That's scary.
Yeah, this is like my fourth favorite faction for how stupid they are, but they're really cool. Oh, I didn't even really go over like what they do in the tabletop, which is fine. I can kind of go like quickly over. Like Space Marines are Space Marines. They operate like everyone else. Grey Knights, you can only have a certain amount of them, same as Custodes, because they're so powerful.
Wait, you could have these guys with you too?
Yes, but you can only have like 5 of them. They're so powerful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like they're that powerful. Death Watch aren't really part of the tabletop game. They got their own tabletop game they play. Imperial Guardsmen, barrage, artillery, tanks, a swarm of an enemy with 1,000 troops. Inquisition doesn't really have a state in the board game. They do. They're like a 1 unit. You play like 1 unit with them, and that's it.
Oh.
Nuns are kind of like Space Marines. They operate in the same faction, the same capacity. Same as Adeptus Mechanicus. They operate like with a lot of technology, so they're kind of like the hybrid between Guardsmen and Space Marines, where they have a bunch of vehicles but also troops.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Now we're on to the last faction of humanity. I know this took forever. The Aficionado Assassinorum, aka assassins. There's 4 temples of them. The Temple of Calidus, aka shapeshifters. These girls and guys are sent in to infiltrate Xeno or even Chaos factions, assassinate a guy, become that guy. So, like, let's just say JJ is a mayor of a planet. They'll send a shapeshifter to kill JJ, and they'll become JJ.
So, do they do this to kind of align like the forces of that power to what their agenda is?
Yes.
Or do they just do it? Oh, okay.
No, they do. Like, oh, hey, this mayor has a very high political standing where he cannot be removed. But it's rumored he's worshiping chaos. Remove him, become him, lead his forces to our side.
Yeah.
And then we got the Klux, aka get the fuck away from me. So I forgot something, because it's not on this slide. There is something in humanity called the blink gene. What is that? So you know when you grew, like when you're around, like when you're on like the bus, and there's a guy that's sitting there, and you're just like, get away from me. Like their aura is just so.
Yeah.
Those are blank genes, but more severe. Most blank genes get murdered in their sleep by their own mother. The ones that
that's nice.
survive become either a sister of silence, where they don't speak, but their blank gene is so powerful that a psyker cannot stand them, or they become a Klux assassin, and that becomes weaponized. You see that little thing around his like right or his left eye? Imagine
The
as
big ass canyon?
yeah, imagine that's amplifying that aura and making it to where you want to rip your skin off.
Oh, damn.
God.
These guys are sent in against Eldari because Eldari fucking are psychers, or Chaos Marines that have heavy amounts of psychers. They'll send this guy in, and he is laughing and smiling as everyone around him is because they think they see the devil himself when they see a Klux assassin.
That's weird. And you can have these people in your
Yep.
in your games.
You can have one of these guys. You can't have all four. You can have one of each in your army if you play as the Imperium.
Oh, damn.
That's like that's why there's a lot of Imperium. Like that's why there's so much detail into the Imperium, because the Imperium army has so many customization. They could put a commissar. I forgot about commissars. We'll go over that in like a second. A commissar, an assassin, some space marines. They're very customizable. Then we got the Vidicar, aka 360 no scope from space. These guys are they're snipers. Those wait years to kill a target. Like they'll be like, hey, you're gonna go on a planet, you're gonna set yourself up on this mountain, and you're gonna wait 200 years to kill a target. Got it.
Oh, damn.
They'll wait 200 years for that target.
How are
And
they
they'll-
able to live so long?
They're genetically modified. They're just like Space Marines. Space Marines actually can live off of no food and water for a while, and they can operate with no sleep for a while because they can turn off their brain. These guys can do the same.
Oh, shit.
You know, must be nice.
Oh yeah. And then we got my favorite one, the Everest Assassin, aka Florida Man in Space. These guys are drugged.
Bath salts.
Yes. These guys are drugged out assassins. When you send this guy in, it's like an exterminatus without destroying the planet. These guys are heavily modified, heavily engineered super soldiers that even Space Marines are terrified of them.
Damn.
These guys are sent in to make sure a planet is cleared. So pretty much what they do, they'll inject them with all kinds of drugs that make them go berserk, throw them in a cryo chamber, and shoot them out of space.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, I would love a horror game where you're a guardsman trying to survive against one of these.
Jesus.
Like, you're just a normal guardsman, and you're like seeing this guy rip your unit apart as well as aliens. Yeah. All right. You asked me a while ago, Jeff, what is the warp? Well, warp is actually hell. Not really. It's a place with means and a means of travel. Well, so the warp, like you said, is a hyperdrive. Yes. Well, you can't go into the warp normally. This is why the God King Emperor is still alive. He is known as a nav point for the warp of humanity. So you know, like the North Star, when you're like, oh, I'm lost, where's the North Star?
Yeah.
That's the God King Emperor. He shines a beacon wherever you go in the warp to lead you to where you need to go.
Oh, okay.
Well, the warp is where chaos is from. This is where the chaos gods live. Say hello to the chaos gods. You got Zeech, the god of Na'ah, Papa Nurgle, the god of Papa loves you for who you are. Orn, the god of skulls for the skull throne. Slanesh, god of sex. Sex with everything.
Ooh.
So just like the Space Marines, just like the Emperor, the Imperium of Man, these guys all have a specialities. Zeech's men are all about magic and using spells. Zeech is the god of change. He's all about manipulating events. And all 4 chaos gods actually play something called the game of who can actually rule over the chaos warp. And Zeech is the one that's been the closest to actually winning.
Really?
Yeah.
These are the 4 chaos gods. Oh.
Yeah.
It's much more.
Oh, these guys are huge. So Zeech, like, you went against Zeech's forces in Space Marine 2. The Thousand Sun are Zeech's people. Papa Nurgle.
That's why they look like Zeech too. They even have that kind of like face on them.
Yeah. Nurgle, I call him Papa Nurgle. Most of the community calls him Papa Nurgle because he is a dad. He loves his children. He actually is one of the nicest chaos gods. But he is the god. He is the god of decay and rot, but also he very much believes in the circle of life. Like, you are born and you will die.
Is that the one in the newest game that you play?
Darktide, yes. His forces are the ones that you go against.
Oh, okay.
Khorne.
Yeah, they love plague.
Yeah, they love plague. Khorne is the god of war, the god of rage, but also the god of honor. Chaos gods aren't actually evil. They're just perceived evil because how the warp works. So imagine the warp is an emotional being, and this emotional being feeds off of everyone's emotions. Well, since everyone in the 40K universe is a negative Nancy, chaos is a negative Nancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Khorne, for example, is all about honor. One time, one of his men tried to backstab him. He wasn't mad that his guy was trying to backstab him. He was mad the sheer audacity that the man tried to do this behind his back.
If you're in backstab, we do it in the front.
So also Khorne has a arena where people fight. He actually has a group of orcs that are his personal champions, but doesn't.
Oh yeah, the orcs.
Yeah, he constantly revives them and watches them fight. Khorne loves orcs.
Really?
Yes, because orcs are all about fighting.
Yeah.
That's all they're about. Hell yeah, and fun.
Slanesh, the god of emotions, really. She is all about you indulging yourself on your emotions. And of course, most of her people are based on sex, but that's indulgence of anything: indulgence of wealth, indulgence of fear. Like, is you feeding on your own emotions. That's what she loves. She wants you to become so infatuated with yourself and your emotions that you pretty much sodomize yourself.
Like, just completely targets your desire.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So if your desire is a wife and kids, she'll give you that, but at a cost.
Well, if I want a wife and kid with her.
No.
Oh, okay.
We don't. I. By the way, she's not even a she. She's actually a they.
Well, if I want,
no, that's because they can transform into anything. They're like Loki. They can be whatever they want.
Yeah. No, I just assume so.
Yeah. And these gods do have rivalries. Rivalries. Like Zeech has a rivalry with Nurgle. Because Nurgle's like, yo, you keep changing shit. I don't like that. Like, humans need to die, and you won't let them die. You don't let any of your forces die. Like, things need to die. And Zeech is like, nuh-uh. No way. I don't care. Khorne is like, you're so dishonorable. You use, like, clones. You use, like, magic. That's so unfair. Nuh-uh. It's so fair. You're just not good enough. Skill issue.
Skill issue.
Yeah, that's Zeech. Zeech is like the ultimate troll in the Warhammer 40K universe. I also forgot to mention something about Nurgle. So I remember how Nurgle says he loves you for who you are. There was a Nurgling. Those are like really small chaos demons that worship Nurgle. Well, a Nurgling fell into that cauldron that you see right there that Papa Nurgle's working on. Well, and drank all that soup up. Well, that soup was Nurgle's latest creation of the most poisonous poison to ever exist. And that Nurgling ate it all and survived. The Nurgling thought he disappointed Nurgle. Nurgle? No, you didn't. I still love you. I have to now make a new poison that's even better. Well, that Nurgling is now a great unclean one and is now roaming the galaxy looking for that poison for his dad.
Tell me why I was thinking of maybe you could find out if the Space Wolves leaker.
That is an actual objective. That is an actual objective of one of the Nurgles, is to try and get that meat.
That's pretty hilarious. That's the first thing I thought of. They're like, "Oh, you need poison? I got you, bro. Check out this mead."
You want poison? I got you, homeboy. I got you the best kind of poison.
Did you mention that he has a prisoner, Nurgle?
Oh yeah, Nurgle. I kind of want to mention that during when we talk about the Xenos.
Oh, okay.
Because it is a Xeno.
Is it? Oh my god.
So we'll talk about that in a second. So just like the Loyalists, Chaos has their own Space Marines because of Horus. Here is the 9 Space Marines. The 3rd Legion, Emperor's Children. These guys are known as the Sound Boys. They all love about having sex and rock and roll because their weapons. Yeah, because you want to know why?
About that before.
Yeah, because they love fucking, but they also love watching your skin get ripped apart with a sonic boom.
Ew.
We'll go back up a little bit just so you can see their Primarch as well. Their Primarch is Fulgrim. Fulgrim's alive. He's a snake god.
Oh shit.
Who is chaos, and he can't die. Also, the Emperor's Children have a psychopath in their ranks who cannot die. And if you kill him and you think that you're so cool, you become him. And he gets reborn and your face is on his armor.
What the really?
Yes, he is known as the Eternal. And he is currently dead because the Blood Angels have a psychopath of their own who murdered him. And he's an actual psychopath. He does not feel anything. And now we're on to the 4th Legion, the Iron Warriors. Remember I told you about rivalries? Well, the Iron Warriors hate the fuck out of the Imperium Fist because the Iron Warriors want to break castles. They want to infiltrate shit. They're at always opposing odds with each other. Well, their Primarch is Repetor Bo. I don't know how to say his name, and I'm not going to because fuck that guy. He's dead. He died during the Horus Heresy. But give him credit, he's the only reason why the Heresy actually worked. He's a master tactician. Yeah. And his forces replicate that as well. Now we're on to the 8th Legion. One of my favorite Chaos factions. The Night Lords, led by Primarch Chorus. These guys, when I say vampires, they're not true vampires, but they'll act like it. They're all about torture, the R word, terrorism, yes, and they'll record these things and send those videos to a planet they're going to raid.
Oh shit.
What the fuck?
Yes.
Fear-mongering them and shit?
Not just fear-mongering. Break them emotionally before they kill them. These guys... So when I say, remember when I told you, Space Marines pick from their planet and they're, the best of the best? Not Night Lords. Yeah. They pick criminals. They pick the worst of the worst of their own people.
Yeah.
So they'll have R words... cannibals, murderers, everything.
Racists.
Sure, JJ. So, Night Lords are also they have one of the greatest books. If you ever want to read a Warhammer book, the book about the Night Lords is actually seen as one of the best works for Warhammer 40K.
Looks like the ones you fight in the game.
No, they do look like it, but they not. We have not actually fight the Night Lords in a while. There's not been a recent game about them. But you can dress up as them in Space Marines too.
Oh, can you? That's cool. Wait, when does Space Marines 2 take place?
It's
Since the whole horse thing.
1,300 years, I believe.
Jesus. Okay.
And their Primarch, Kurz is dead.
Oh.
Kurz also saw his death. He is a psychic who can see into the future.
Oh shit.
And he knew his death was coming. He was assassinated by one of those shapeshifting assassins, but he told all of his men not to stop her and to give her a head start when he dies.
Shit.
Yeah, he took it like a champ.
Yeah.
And now we're on
You're
to...
like, oh my god, I mean, it must have been good kill.
Yeah. Now we're on to Legion 12, aka the World Eaters. They were known as the... I forget actually what they were, their previous name were, but they're led by Agron. They worship corn.
Agron.
Agron.
Oh, they worship corn?
Yeah, they're corn worshippers. They're all about skulls for the skull throne, blood for the blood god. I should also have mentioned Iron Warriors and Night Lords do not worship a particular chaos god. They're just chaos. They're known as Chaos Undivided.
So what, do they just follow? Who the hell do they follow?
No
just
one.
Their own?
They do not get any special powers from a chaos god because they do not give them power. They just live in the warp and they are heretics for it. Versus Agron, Emperor's Children, they worship a particular god. So Agron comes from a planet that is all about galactic warfare. Well, not galactic warfare. It's about gladiator warfare. Well, he was about to save his friends, and the Emperor showed up. And the Emperor's like, you're coming with me now. And Agron's like, can I finish what I was about to do? I was leading a very successful revolution. I'm more than happy to come with you, Dad. But can we? Nope, you're not finishing that. We're going. And left his friends to die.
Deuces.
Which led Agron to be one of the first Primarchs to be corrupted by chaos, because you can't really see it. Agron has these things called the pennant nails that are in his skull. They look like dreadlocks, but they're actually nails that go into your brain that make you feel rage.
What the fuck?
Yeah, all of his soldiers have these nails.
So they're just fucking rampaging berserkers?
Yes, they're just berserkers. But most people
crazy.
actually liked Agron. I believe Liam Russ actually was friends with Agron. So they have a rivalry between them and the Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Now we're on to the Death Guard, led by Mortaris himself. These guys worship Papa Nurgle.
Papa Nurgle.
These guys are tanks. You cannot kill them. They are slow-moving, pus-filled, rotting corpses that you cannot kill. And they have a rivalry with salamanders. Not because they're green, because salamanders like to purge and burn everything, while these guys like to spread disease. There's a book about them. One of the chapters is how a Imperial Guardsman saw them. One day, the skies became darkened. The second day, the plants started dying. The third day, they were at their doorstep pounding on the door.
Oh, wow. That's totally like Dracula according
to...
Yeah.
Yeah. And now we're almost done. We got like 2 more, or actually 3 more left. We're now on to the Thousand Sons, worshippers of Zeech. These guys spell magic. They're not even a people. They're armored with sand in them because they have a curse that Magnus the Red, who is almost as powerful as his dad as a psyker. He's one of the only true psychers in the Warhammer 40k. Well, Magnus was like, "Yo, I'm gonna go try and save my soldiers." Well, his dad told him not to do it because his dad was like, "Yo, your guys are gonna die." Well, they didn't die; they got turned to sand. And they're warriors that cannot die. And when I say they cannot die, the warp will not let any chaos entity die. So that demon you slayed last week, Alan, comes back next week.
Is that because the whole sand thing?
No, for the warp, it's because that's where everyone goes when they die. Everyone goes to the warp.
Oh, that's why you said hell.
Yeah. And now we're on to the Sons of Horus. They used to be known as the Lunar Wolves when they were loyalists. Well, we know what happened to Horus. Horus fucking dead.
Yes.
So they're now known as the Sons of Horus, and they are rivals to the Ultramarines. I'm not really gonna go that much into them. They're just kind of like they are like Ultramarines. They're good at everything. They don't have a speciality. Now we're on to the guy who started all, the Word Bearers. These guys are the ones that started the Church of the Emperor.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Wait, the Church of the Emperor.
Yes, they're the ones that started it. So they come from so their Primarch, Lorgar, was a man of spirituality. He believed that there wasn't higher power and there has to be a god. Well, he chose his god to be his dad, the God Emperor, and made the church and made the book and made everything that eventually became the foundation of the Imperium of Man after the Emperor's death. Well, you know what the Emperor did before that? You ever remember Babylon?
No, please remind me.
So Babylon was a city that tried to dare challenge the audacity of God, and God rained hellfire upon it. Well, the Emperor did the same thing. He destroyed.
Wait, why did he do that?
Because
he follows.
Because the Emperor was an atheist.
Oh, and he's like, I'm gonna look to him as a god.
Yeah, he's like, look, Dad, we all worship you. And his dad was like, I'm disgusted. Yeah, he's like, I'm disgusted by you. Come to my ship. Yeah, you see your planet? Exterminatus the planet.
Oh, damn, that's fucked. Really?
Yes. He didn't destroy it like Exterminatus, but he pretty much made it a barren wasteland. And was like, that's what happens when you make gods. And so he's like, well, I need something to worship. The chaos gods were like, hey, we want you to worship us. We would love you to worship us.
Wow.
And so he's the one that started it all. He's the one that corrupted Horus. Horus corrupted Agron. Agron corrupted Mortaris. Mortaris corrupted Magnus the Red, so on and so forth.
So the Emperor's kid corrupted Horus and all them?
Yeah, they're all brothers. They're all the Emperor's children. Direct descendants.
Okay.
Yeah. But he is the one that started it all. He is the one that laid the foundation. And remember when I said Chaos Undivided? These guys are Chaos United. They worship and believe in all Chaos gods. So they get all the benefits of worshiping all the Chaos gods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're on to the last.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now we're on to the last Legion. Legion 20. Alpha Legion. For better views, oh my god, no way. Now, Alpha Legion. They're led by Alfarius Alfarius. Yeah, Alfarius. Well, no one knows that they're actually evil. Alfarius, and they're all Alfarius. So, Alpha Legion are the greatest cosplayers known to man. They will disguise themselves as anyone.
Oh shit!
So there's like a joke amongst the the Warhammer community. So an Alpha Legion squad jumps behind enemy lines, destroys a garrison, and killed all the Space Marines there. Well, they then became those Space Marines and rebuild the garrison. Because they don't know why they did it. Now Alfarius would do it. And then a orbital ship showed up. They infiltrated the orbital ship, got captured. The captain, the commissar of the orbital ship was like, hey, why are you doing this? He's like, yeah, isn't this the orbital ship that's in charge of the planetary defenses? Yeah, I'll blow it up. He blows it up with himself inside. Turns out that orbital ship had a chaos cult in it and was going to have a bunch of chaos entities appear in like a month. That was destroyed. So they did a chaos thing to a loyalist thing to a chaos thing to a loyalist thing. The Alpha Legion do not know if they're chaos or good or loyalist, even to themselves.
This is so funny.
They are skit. This is my second favorite Space Marine faction.
You just have a coin every time. They're like, all right, what are we gonna do now? Bam.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the Chaos Demons. Chaos Demons pick up abilities from their Chaos God. So Zeech's forces look like birds. He very much loves birds. And they're all spellcasters. Papa Nurgle's demons are very like pus-looking blobs that have plague around them. Khorne, they look like stereotypical demons. They're red horns. They believe they're fast and aggressive. And Slaanesh's demons are BDSM.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. Nurgle's, what's it called? I think, don't they talk about Nurgle and Vermintide?
Yes.
Oh, they talk about all of them in Vermintide.
So,
all 4 of them are in there.
No, not all 4. Really? Zeech's is not there.
I thought I remember hearing Zeech.
Because Zeech is a person that is talked about, but his forces and Slaanesh's forces are not there.
Yeah, you only face Nurgle and Khorne's, but you do...
No, only Nurgles.
Khorne... What?
Khorne asked the assistance of the Beastmen to assist him in conquering the land, but you do not go against Khorne's men. You only go against Nurgles. Same as Darktide. You only go against Nurgle.
Just Nurgles.
Wait, are the Vermin more like an alien faction than anything?
Well, okay, so remember, Vermintide and the Warhammer 40k universe are 2 separate universes. Vermintide takes place in the Age of Sigmar universe, which is a different universe entirely, and what we're talking about is the 40k universe.
Oh,
they're not. It's not a timeline. There is no timeline that links those two together. The only thing that links them is the name. And according to Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar is on a planet that no one can reach. Sorry, according to Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar is on a planet no one can reach. And for Age of Sigmar, 40k is an orb that no one can touch.
Oh.
Wow.
So you choose which one is the canon one, and the other one is just a orb or just a planet.
Right. Huh.
And now we're on to Xenos. Finally, we'll start off with the Eldar, aka Space Elves. So recently in the lore, Eldar and humans are finally kind of working together. They kind of never don't. Because humans, remember, are xenophiles. They don't think that anyone that's a human should live. Also, the Eldar gave birth to Slaanesh. So let me tell you about that. So, the Eldar were once one of the most advanced races, and kind of like humans, they were everywhere. Until one day, the Eldar were so advanced in their technology, everything was automated. So they were bored. So what did they do? They had sex and drugs and indulged themselves on all their vices till one day it was so bad that the warp shattered and made Slaanesh. And Slaanesh was birthed by feeding upon 1 million Eldar souls.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, Slaanesh is the youngest chaos god. She's the baby.
Elder god. You almost said elder.
Oh well, I said chaos.
Alan, we gotta copyright strike this guy from taking the elder gods from us.
But
I'm thinking.
So I don't know why I said there's 3. There's 4 flavors of. There's 4 flavors of the Eldar. There are Craft World Eldar, aka normal elves. These Eldar are the ones that left planets because they felt like they were losing their way with the whole sex and shit. So they made these giant size spaceships that are like planets. So they're called craft worlds.
Ooh.
Then you have the
craft worlds, like Halos.
Yeah, they're kind of like Halos, but they're actual spaceships. So yeah, think of like a Halo where it has like a whole ecosystem in it.
Yeah.
But they're actual spaceships that move and everything. And by the way, these are an endangered species, and Slaanesh hunts them down because Slaanesh loves Eldar souls.
Yeah, I bet.
So the next one are known as the Drakhar, aka Dark Eldar. These are Eldar that stayed behind and did their whole, I'm going to have sex every day and live in the war around Slaanesh, but hide from her.
Oh, shit.
And they very much still believe in what they do. They'll hunt down humans and they'll bring them back and do things to them. And then we have the Harley Quinns, aka clowns. These Dark Eldar love doing carnivals, and they will kill everyone, even other Eldar. They have a gun that shoots a parasite into a person, paralyzing them, but it doesn't kill them. It slowly kills them by ripping their atoms one by one.
Holy shit.
Yep. And then we have the Yanar, aka the cultists of a death god, of a god of death. These are the newest faction for the Eldar. These are Eldar that come from the other three factions to join together to even help humanity. Rabute Gilliman has an advisor from these guys. She's the one that actually saved him. Rabute Gilliman, just like Lion, was also in a coma, and she saved him. It's also hinted at that he fucks her every day.
Let's go.
Let's go. Rabute Gilliman gets pussy. It's a plot. It's never said.
Not like Linguini over here.
Not like Linguini looking ass.
Who was that guy with the guy who died? Who said the Space Marine that everyone loved?
Oh, Sanguinius. Don't you dare disrespect Sanguinius. He was loved. All right, but now you're going over the ones you definitely know. You know these guys. Tyranids, aka cockroaches in space, and their kids, gene sealers, aka the deep space, the deep state.
The deep state.
No, they are. So Tyranids are just like cockroaches. They evolved to survive. They are the apex predators of the Warhammer 40k universe. They are impossible to completely kill. Even like what Captain Titus told you, like even though he killed a Hive Lord, they're not done. They're still on that planet fighting.
Do they follow a Chaos God?
Nope.
Tyranids?
Nope. They just go wherever they want. They find a planet. They don't care who's in it, just and they'll kill everyone. Yeah, and they'll just hive it. Mm-hmm. There was a couple fights. There was a fight between Chaos and the Tyranids, between Papa Nurgle and the Tyranids. It took 100 years for that fight to end. Mm-hmm. The Tyranids won, but they had to sacrifice the planet and the hive that was attached to that planet because Papa Nurgle left such a bad, like he infected them. He completely infected them and was like, I don't care if you kill all my men. I killed your guys by giving them AIDS. Sucks to suck, bitch.
Like it's just a huge wasteland because of his like power.
Yeah, so so they had to sacrifice it. They're very much a hive mind. If one knows, they all know.
Yeah.
And they have their Gene Stealer cult. Gene Stealers are Tyranids that infect humans. They're all about, oh man, look at that hot girl right there. Shoot her with a gun. She's gonna give birth to one of us.
It's crazy.
And they're all about, they're all about infiltrating planets and slowly overrunning the government and overpowering the planet and starting a revolution to take down defenses so the Tyranids can come in and wipe them out.
God, that's why they're called Gene Stealers. So they're like Ew, they're like parasites almost, just
Yeah.
kind of taking over people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
As
you
you
said
can-
they birthed them?
Yep. So like you see this one right here on the bottom right. That one was
Yeah.
probably was a first generation, while the guy on the left is a second or third generation gene stealer.
Yeah.
But you see how they look eerily human? Like it's very hard to actually tell.
Yeah, it's very uncanny. It's kind of gross.
Yeah. They can do that for any race, but they mainly do it for humans. And also with protocols, if a space marine dies around Tyranids, you have to get that space marine or destroy his corpse, because the gene seed cannot be taken, because otherwise they get their own space marines.
They can get a space marine down.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You either get the gene seed from the space marine or destroy it.
Yeah.
And now we're on to get this stupid fucking list out of here. Wah! We're about the orcs now.
So
So-
you don't like orcs?
Oh no, this is how the orcs are. The orcs would break the fourth wall and say, fuck your list.
Oh.
I love orcs. I love orcs. Orcs are my second favorite faction in the game before Space Marines. But they would be there. But I am going to build an army of these guys. If I actually guide to the Warhammer tabletop, these guys, I would make them. So the Warhammer 40k orcs. What to say about them other than I believe the color red makes your shit go faster. I believe the color blue is luck. That is actually why the Space Marine, that's why the Ultramarines are actually the most overpowered Space Marines. These guys believe that blue is one of the most powerful colors of luck. So,
what the hell? Wait,
yeah.
so how can they have the ability to like manifest?
So, orcs, as well as the next race that we're about to talk about, are one of the most ancient races, and they've existed for over 1 million bajillion years. And they originally were like 12-foot tall, intelligent beings that were able to channel the warp and change reality. Well, through years of inbreeding, they became these guys.
Oh god.
And they
These
still have that.
idiots.
They still have that power of manipulating matter around them, but they are too stupid to know it works.
Oh wow, that's so
So-
interesting.
So let's talk about one of the examples. There's a war chief. He has a choppa, aka a car. This choppa never got filled in the morning, and he's driving it. And his lackey goes, "Oi, boss, the tank is empty." The war chief, "Nah, I filled it up this morning with the good gas, the fast gas." Car is immediately full, and it goes 200 miles per hour in a second. Because the war
So
chief believed he
that's-
put good gas in there.
And that's the doing of the warp. They've got like the warp's magic.
Kinda. That's the best way to explain it. It's like they're manipulating the warp and the world around them to manifest stuff. Tell you how stupid it is? There's a guy. I'm gonna call him Giga Orc. This Giga Orc has his favorite choppa gun. His favorite DACA. That's gun firepower DACA. His favorite DACA. He's like, I wish I had another DACA like this. This is my favorite DACA. And they always talk like a broken British accent, mind you. And that's why I love them. So he believed that he could go back in time. He did. He went back in time. Found himself. It was like, oi, that's my DACA. Give me my DACA. His past self. No, it's my DACA. And we're going to fight, and we're going to have 2 DACAs. They fought. The one that went back in time won, and now has 2 of his favorite gun.
Oh my god.
Oh hell no.
Yeah.
That's so fucking random. That's interesting though.
It
So
also
if you
works-
use them,
Oh, go
did
ahead.
they use magic on like the tabletop if you use
Yes. They have people called Strange Boys who are psychers.
them? Oh shit, okay. That's the
No,
psychic.
you want to know how stupid? You want to know how stupid it also reverses? There's a group of guardsmen that were trapped behind enemy lines, and a commissar was told, "Hey, we ran out of ammunition. What to do?" The commissar looked at his laser gun, pointed at Orc, bang, Orc died. Because the orcs still believed they had ammunition. The guardsmen followed. Bang, 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 bang. 100 of orcs died. Next thing you know is they see in the distance a group of orcs. They're saying bang, 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 bang. Nothing's happening. Before the guardsmen die, they can hear the orcs chant, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank, I'm a tank.
What?
The orcs believed they were a tank.
That's crazy. I'm looking at that picture too, where he's like wearing the Space Marine armor.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about the colors. Orcs we boys have the best color. So purple ain't a stealthy color. When have you ever seen a purple orc? Think, human, think.
What the fuck?
Yes,
That's so
orcs.
stupid.
Yeah, orcs believe purple's the stealthiest color. Because have you ever seen a purple orc?
No, I never have.
Exactly. You've never seen a purple orc. Another thing too, orcs believe yellow is money. Orcs also don't grow hair. So you may ask, well, wait a minute, I've seen orcs with hair. Yeah, that's a parasite. That's an animal they put on their head that bites down into their skull to give them hair.
Really?
Yes. And also, just like JJ said, when they believe something, it's true. Well, war chiefs are orcs that look big because orc chief has to be big.
They gotta be the biggest and strongest. So of course that's what they are.
And orcs love fighting. They love fighting. To the point to where they'll even save humans and let them leave because they loved how they fight.
They can continue.
Oh.
Yes.
Funny.
So we'll talk about we'll talk about Commissar real quick. His name is One Eye. One Eye was such a badass of a human that he made the orcs love him. The orcs are like, you are the greatest human I'll ever know. One day, One Eye gets captured by the orcs, gets his arm ripped off. Well, One Eye escaped, killing one of the orc war chiefs and ripping his arm off and using his arm as a cybernetic arm.
Oh, shit.
Because it worked for the orcs, it has to work for me, right?
Right.
The orcs, he then started an uprising with all the fellow other humans. Well, those humans died, and One Eye was left alone with the biggest war chief of them all. And that war chief gave him a ship and said, you can leave now. And the One Eye is like, what trick is this? He's like, it's no trick. Good enemies are hard to find. And I want to fight you again.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this like an actual side story? Damn.
Yeah, it's one of the books. It's called it's like one of the books of One Eye, and they all call him One Eye. Well, sadly, One Eye died. He died fighting Khorne, so that led that orc faction, the one that's like, I gotta find a good enemy, to go find Khorne and kill him because they're so mad that he's dead. So they're in the war trying to kill him.
Wasn't it?
What?
Like an archdemon? Wasn't it like an archdemon?
No, we don't know what killed One Eyed.
I remember there was a theory because there's like a demon. With
A theory, yes. We still don't know who killed One Eye. A theory.
Yeah.
One-eyed Willie.
Yeah, we will never know who killed One Eye. All we know is that Khorne was responsible.
What if it was an orc that killed One-eyed?
Oh, they wouldn't mind then. They would just fight the orc that killed One Eye because that means that orc has to be the strongest.
Yeah.
All right.
I think like they're going towards like where Khorne is, or wherever. Like,
Khorne captured them and they're now in his arena. That is the orcs I was talking to you about. Because they were so annoying, but he loved them so much. He was like, I don't care you're trying to kill me. Can you guys just fight in my arena till the very end of existence? And the orcs were like, sure. You're going to give us an infinite fight? Yeah.
Yeah, infinite fights.
Oh, yeah. Also, the orcs are like pollen. When they die, they release a chemical that breeds new orcs. It's impossible to get rid of orcs when they're on a planet.
Oh shit! Yeah.
So they have like a germification type fucking.
Yeah, they're like fungi. They just reproduce immediately.
They're just fun guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they are
They're
fun
just a bunch
guys.
of fun guys.
They're just fun guys. Kill myself. All right. Now we're on to what Space Marine 2 was hinting at the end. Necrons.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Freaking
Necrons. Necrons are the true toaster lovers of the Warhammer 40k universe. These guys are an ancient race of, we don't even know what they were. They were an ancient race that got transformed because they made a deal with a trickster god. There was gods even before the Chaos gods. These are known as like the Great Old Ones.
Olden gods, let's go!
Yeah.
Yeah.
This god tricked them into becoming robots to kill another race of aliens that these guys were trying to kill. So they killed that god, harvested his soul, and became these guys. And they went to sleep. And they're
I think Henry Cavill fucks with this Legion too, no?
yes, I believe so.
Necrons?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he talked about like a necromancy type Legion.
Yeah, they're close to necromancy. Yeah, because they're not really alive. You can just rebuild them. They are led by what is known as the Silent King. That is the House of 1,000. There's like a lot that goes into them. I don't know that much about them. I do want to learn more. There's 2 video games based on them. There is Warhammer Adeptus Mechanicus, which is like XCOM meets Warhammer, and you play as Adeptus Mechanicus. Huh?
You said they're teased in Space Marines too?
Yeah, they're teased in Space Marine 2. At the very end, they're like, man, where are these buildings come from? And the Adeptus Mechanicus is like, well, they've been here. They're Necrons.
Oh.
And Titus immediately knows because he's dealt with Necrons.
Oh, has he?
Yes. Death Watch deals with Necrons.
Okay.
So
is Titus a part of Death Watch?
He was. At the very beginning of the game, he was part of Death Watch because in Space Marine 1, he was condemned for being a heretic, which he never was. He's just he just has an innate resistance to
that beginning scene when you're playing as him,
that's the Death Watch.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, that's why on his arm he has that chain and that sigil at the very bottom.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's his reminder that he was part of the Death Watch. He spent 200 years on the Death Watch.
Shit.
Oh yeah, Titus is old. Titus also is a Primaris. Yeah, Titus is also known as a Primaris Marine. It's just a Primaris Marine is an upgraded Space Marine. They're slowly replacing Space Marines, the older generation.
Yeah.
Tells you how important Titus is. If Titus was about to die and they transformed him into a Primaris and pretty much gave him another 100 years of service, tells you how important he really is.
That's that whole like surgery scene that you see happening to him.
Yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
So we're thinking that Space Marine 3 we're going to be dealing with Necrons because Space Marine 1 we dealt with orcs, Space Marine 2 was Tyranids, and then now
Decay.
Oh yeah, we're always going to deal with chaos.
So
yeah, no, I'm
Wait,
excited.
Space Marine 1, that's an old game, right?
Yeah, it recently got a HD remastered, but apparently it's not
good. Shit! And you deal with orcs in that one?
Yeah, you deal with orcs, and you deal with the word bearers.
Fuck, man! I really hope if they make a Space Marines 3, I want them to keep that kind of feel that Part 2 has. The gameplay of that game is fun.
Oh yeah, no, I think I personally think we're going to be going against. I want to go against the Emperor's Children, but it wouldn't make sense.
Those purple guys.
Yeah, because we never really had Slanesh. In a video game, we've only had Nurgle and Khorne. When we recently got,
I was thinking Nurgle.
Yeah, and we only recently got Zeech. But we haven't had like a AAA game that focuses on Slanesh. Like Slanesh
where's Zeech?
Zeech is 1,000 Suns.
Oh, okay. And you said we recently got them in what?
The Space Marine 2. That's what
Space Marine 2. You're
Oh,
playing
that's what
1,000.
those are, the Thousand Suns.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. But yeah, and then we have one more faction left, the Tau Empire, aka the wannabe good guys. So these are the youngest faction in the Warhammer 40k universe. They're also the most hated on the tabletop. I forgot to mention how the tabletop works for some of these guys. Tau are hated. So remember when you were a kid and there was that one kid when you guys played Make Believe or Pretend, he'll be like, you're like, oh, I'm going to shoot you with my Iron Man. Yeah. You're like, oh, I'm going to shoot you with my Iron Man chest beam. Whoa. I have a shield. That protects me from that. Since when? We didn't discuss you have that. Just now. That's the Tau.
Yeah, I have the opposite of Iron Man's repulsor. I have an Iron Man repulsor shield.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's the Tau. The Tau have the highest range in the Warhammer 40k tabletop, so they're all about picking people off, and it very much pisses people off. Games Workshop try to make these guys into the good guys, but then they realized, wait a minute, that's the whole point of Warhammer 40k is there isn't a good guy.
Yeah.
They believe in something called the greater good. The greater good is anyone can join it. They even have humans amongst their ranks. They even have some space marines amongst their ranks. Because they believe, oh, we're all going to join together and be the greater good. And if you don't follow that, you die.
Like Mandalorians. This is the way.
Kinda. I would see it more like think of it as the Empire, where the Empire believed that they were the only way of living in the galaxy. These guys are like that. They believe they're the only way that you can live in the galaxy. They also are weebs. In the Warhammer community, there's a lot of fan art of them that are described as like Japanese schoolgirls. And that is like their propaganda is, if you join, you'll get yourself a baddie like me. That's like the memes.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's so random.
And you now have been introduced to all of Warhammer 40k. Here, have some memes.
Yay! 40k memes. You know, coming into this story, I was thinking the Warhammer was like Helldivers, bro. I just thought they was just humans just trying to infest these planets, and then they just worshipped like a mythical god that didn't exist. But there's a lot of much more existing in gods than I thought. When you were talking about it, especially the whole God Emperor stuff. I didn't know about the God Emperor King at all. Like, I was almost getting the impression that the God Emperor King was that just never got dumbed down from like inbreeding. You know what I mean? Like, it gives me that impression because it's like, how the hell can you make a beacon in the people to see? It's just like,
it's just how powerful he is.
It's so sus. Right. It's sus how powerful he is.
Oh, yeah. No, it makes you go like, he has to be a chaos god. He has to be
like something.
He has to be something. And that is why I love Warhammer. Warhammer is such this massive thing that you could do so much with. And Games Workshop has now recently been more accepting of games. Like, we were never supposed to get Space Marine 2. Never was supposed to be a thing. After Space Marine done, Games Workshop went on their whole, we don't make games anymore. We're done. We're going back to the table. And they realized, okay, well, the video games got us fans. Because that's where I started. I started off with Dawn of War. I'm not good at RTSs, but that's where I fell in love with the Warhammer franchise. Because, how big is this? Probably like 1,000 years after Horus. A lot of the games take place way after Horus Heresy. There's no games that outright take place during the Horus Heresy because they want to leave that to a lot of ambiguity.
I was gonna say they just wanted to leave like textual like history.
Because they want you to do, because a lot of the times they want you to do your own thing. There's a lot of fan-made Space Marine factions. There's a lot of fan-made stories that sometimes Games Workshop goes, that's cool. Let's make it canon. But yeah, no, there's a bunch of stuff we missed out on, like the clans of the orcs. There's like 7 different clans. There's hundreds upon hundreds of successor chapters for the Space Marine, like the Imperial Fist have the Black Templars as a successor chapter. Yeah.
Can go in.
Go ahead, JJ. JJ's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, like successor chapters are like the second founding. They're like a new generation of Space Marines that were inspired by the Legion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's some foundries or some chapters like the Space Sharks, the ones I personally love, that you see me dress up as in Space Marine 2. No one knows where they came from. They just appeared.
Is that that one faction that likes to dress up as World War I at the bottom?
No, those are guardsmen. That is the Death Corps of Krieg. The one at the bottom, that's the Death Corps of Krieg. Being like, what?
Yeah.
You really thought that because you are some bioengineered superhuman walking tank touched by some numerous powers, I wouldn't charge you with a shovel? That's them. They do. No, legitimately, that embodies them so perfectly.
Who did he kill? Who is that on the floor?
A word bearer. He killed a Space Marine.
Okay.
He 1v1'd a Space Marine and survived.
Damn.
But no, like the games go over that. Like Dark Tide shows how well humans actually can fight in the Warhammer universe.
Yeah, because you said the guys in Dark Tide, they're just prisoners, right? They're not anything crazy.
Yeah, they're just prisoners who have a specialized background.
Are any of them from these guardsmen legions?
You can say that's where they're from. That's the beauty of that game, is you can say, hey, my sharpshooter comes from Cadia. He's Acadian.
Oh, that's cool.
He's Acadian. He's a Acadian soldier who disobeyed orders from his sergeant, and that's why he was on that ship. But he's like he's a 20-year veteran Acadian soldier.
Do they have fits, different outfits, like Space Marine? Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, in Dark Tide, you can dress up as the Death Corps Kriegman. Yeah,
that's cool, bro. That's awesome because I like that they do this video game stuff, especially in Space Marine 2. How it's like you can be the factions, but
and the DLCs,
not directly, but yeah.
No, and I hope eventually we do get a video game that. We did get one back on the Xbox 360 called Death Watch, but it was a Contra inspired, not Contra inspired. It was a twin stick shooter, and I'm like, yeah, but I want one that's like more. It's like Space Marine 2.
Twin stick shooter? What's that?
Twin stick shooter where it's like the camera's over the top and your right stick points where your gun shoots.
Like Dead Ops Arcade?
Yeah, like Dead Ops Arcade, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no. We didn't even talk about Terminators, which are Space Marines that are in a suit of armor that's so big it barely fits in a ship. And you know what they go in? They go into these things called dreadnoughts. And dreadnoughts are these big, huge ships that humans use.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so no, there's so much shit Titans? That I didn't even go over. Yeah, no, they're like Titans.
Damn.
Yeah, no, there's so much shit I didn't even go over because I didn't want this to be like a 3-hour session. We already got to 2 hours.
No,
20 minutes of it.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 20 minutes of it wasn't even recorded, which is hilarious.
That was perfect for JJ to come in at that exact moment.
Yeah.
When we realized the audio thing, but yeah, okay, well, shit, man, I highly appreciate you telling me all this. Now I have a huge, clear understanding of this. There's a lot more layers than.
Oh yeah, no, there is so many layers. Like I said, Alan, that was a 27 slide. The original one where I was going to be like, oh yeah, let's go over everything. Humanity alone was 27 slides.
Yeah. That's crazy. You said it was like 40 something.
Yeah, it was like 27 slides devoted just to humanity.
That's funny. That's fuck, man. Well, hey, if you're still down to do another episode for COD Zombies,
Oh, I'm
I'm
down.
down.
I'm down for that. I'm down. That could be episode 3 of Why is COD Zombies so good? And then why are
No,
we
because
hurt?
like, and then especially with that too, I feel like I'll be able to discuss a lot more because in this one, dude, I was just learning, and
Oh yeah.
so
No, it was still fun doing this. Like this was a lot of fun. We
no,
like
dude, I highly appreciate it.
you redeemed my second episode, even though I just have to edit out the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I appreciate it, bro. But damn, dude, yeah, I'm like literally after we hit our hour and a half mark, I started updating Warhammer because I'm like, damn, now I want to play Space Marines 2 again to
You want to play
see
Space
all
Marine
like
2? I'm down.
the-
I'll install it.
yeah, install it, bro. I'll tell JJ to install it too so we can hop on it. But yeah, man, thanks again for the lore drop and
Of course.
yeah, bro, that was badass.
All right. Well,
is that you?
yeah.
Oh, on your stream, there was like an ugly picture of you out there, all blurry.
Oh yeah. I was playing a game called Forgive Me Father 2, and there was a moment where the game was like pitch black, and out of nowhere it became light, and I was just like,
You got blinded.
yeah. No, I think the picture will come up because there's George.
That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. George, come here. He's like, I hate you now.
Well, shit, man. I don't know what you're gonna do right now, but these fools.
Yeah,
I just don't know what they're getting.
I'm just installing Space Marine 2. I'll probably play some Dark Tide for a little bit. All right, well, I'm going to end out the stream here. Well, guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for enjoying the stream. If you got here to the very end, if you're watching on YouTube, consider dropping a sub. I appreciate it. If you want to see live action content, please consider following us on Twitch, where I stream every day, brand new games all the time, even some retro. And every Sunday we do community night where we play with the community.